Welcome back, everyone, to Merge Conflict, your weekly developer podcast, and welcome to the year of 2024. Frank, we made it. I can't believe it. It happened.
Yeah, there were doubts there. You get late in the race and you start to feel a little bit tired. And you're like, maybe I'll just walk out the rest, or I don't really need to finish this year. But we both decided, let's do it. Let's finish 2023 and do the next year. Maybe we won't do 2025, but let's do 2024.
At a
Let's go
minimum.
for it.
Yeah, it seems like a good number. 20 plus 24, that's 44.
Nice even number.
Six times 2, each number, that's 16. That's great. Plus each other, then 7. So, basically that's what the whole year boils down to. It's the number 7.
Anyway, welcome to the new era, James. It's wonderful to be here.
Whoa. 20 plus 24, 44. 4 times 4, 16. iPhone 16 predictions. Wow.
You cracked it. We understand Tim Cook's brain. You solved it. I always thought he was a numerologist, and you just proved it, according to me.
Well, I want to talk about something that's on my wrist, Frank, because as you know, I've been eyeing those new fancy Apple Watches, and this Apple Watch has a huge crack in it, and I can't put it underwater. I'm terrified that it's going to electrocute myself. And when we were on a recent trip, we did a lot of swimming, and I took it off every single time. Heather's over there getting all of her sweet calorie counts in activities on her watch, doing open water swims. Poor me, nope. I put my little Apple Watch over here because I don't want it to electrocute me. It's lit. I can see the innards, and that's not good. So I went yesterday. I just went yesterday to go buy the new Apple Watch. So I was like, it's time. I got the credits, from our fitness program at work. Time to buy the new. I can't buy it, Frank. I can't buy it.
What's going on in the world of watch manufacturing? It is the craziest thing just happened. I was scrolling through Twitter, doom scrolling mostly. That's what you do at the end of the year. And the silliest little article came up, and I'm like, no, that can't be anything. That's nothing. There's no way this is anything. The news article said something about the pulse oximetry oxology sensor. Hi, everyone. I don't know anything about medical stuff, but I am an electrical engineer, so I'm happy to talk about wavelengths of light here. But there's a patent dispute, James. There is a patent dispute going on with the Apple Watch, and there is some bad blood between some California companies, and they called the lawyers, and those California lawyers are making things happen. It is, I think, the weirdest story on the planet. It shouldn't be. Like, what? How long are these oxygen pulse oximeter thingies been out now? But there is a California company, totally forgetting their name, just blanking on it right now. And they are claiming that Apple's little oxygen sensor that reads how much oxygen your blood is carrying, your blood, not mine, because I have an older watch, how much your blood is carrying around in your body. And I thought this was kind of interesting because recent events have gotten me thinking about health and my own oxygen levels. And I've been curious about my oxygen levels. So I've been thinking about upgrading my watch. And now I can't because of lawyers and perhaps actual patent infringements. Who knows? Not a lawyer.
Yeah. So this is Massimo is the company, and they're a medical device maker. And as you can imagine, Apple has over the last several years added more medical device sensory things into the Apple Watch, which is good for us if you have it. So you can detect things if things are going awry. One of the most famous features is the like basically if you have a spike in your heart beats and it starts to go wild, you might be having a heart attack, right? They can sense that up or low. Both are bad, by the way. I don't know if you know if it goes really high or goes really low, that's bad, and you don't know in general.
I will differ with you there. I have numerous times I've been calmly sitting at my computer, very calm and zen as I do, and then an email will come through and my watch will start buzzing saying your heart rate is up even though you're sitting down in a chair, buddy. And I'm like, ooh, that email affected me.
I
My
bet
heart
it
rate
did.
would
Yeah.
just spike right up.
Oh my gosh. And like all this stuff, it really brings me back to some of the early things that Hanselman was going through with Scott Hanselman is diabetic and he has insulin pump, and there's a whole long lineage of attempting to get that information onto different smart devices, and you can go back to years upon years, and now it's app and all this other stuff. It's kind of at least more mainstream and things like that now, but having not only the insulin like the reader, but also the pump. Those are two different things that are different, doing different things. And just medical technology is very, very fascinating, kind of slower moving, which is fascinating. So that's what makes this interesting to talk about, because the technology of what can be on a wrist and can potentially help many, many, many people is there. However, yes, the whole debate here is that Massimo has the patent and on this type of technology. So you can't be like just breaking patents, Frank. That's bad news
Can't
in
you? I
general.
don't know. Ever since I was a little kitty hacker, Hacker Frank, little kitty hacker Frank has always been against patents, and I still kind of am.
Yeah.
I'm not. I think the patent system does a little bit more harm than good if we're looking at the general good. The patent system seems geared toward making rich companies richer, but this isn't a game of David versus Goliath. These are two large corporations that both are patent heavy. Apple's got tons of patents, they got tons of patents. This is what large corporations do. They argue about patents. It's why
Yeah.
every large company you work for will give you, usually there's a bonus if you can file a patent, because they build up this arsenal of patents. So if one company sues them, they can countersue with their patents, or they can work with little side deals, backroom deals with that kind of stuff. But I thought it'd be fun to talk a little bit about the actual technology, since it's interesting. Anyone who's gotten an a recent Apple Watch, I should say, has noticed the really cool lights that emit off the back of it. Man, that sensor array on the back of the watch just keeps getting more and more complex. And it's a cool technology where they actually, shine an LED into your little blood veins, blood arteries, blood carrying vessels in your body.
Yeah.
And they look at the absorption spectrum of what you're absorbing, and they can tell the hemoglobin levels, which is proportional to your oxygen carrying capability of your blood. And that's an important factor because it turns out humans need oxygen. It's very vital to our existence. And just from that data, it's honestly like electrical engineering 101 kind of stuff. This is not new technology. We have been looking at absorption spectrums of galaxies and planets and suns and plants and all this stuff. We know that different molecules absorb light at different frequencies. You shine some light through it, you look at what frequencies it's absorbing, how much it's absorbing. It's going to be hard to say all these big words in this podcast today. You just look at those things, and they're proportional. The amount of light it's absorbing is proportional to the amount of oxygen that your body is carrying in it. And so, at some levels, it's a fundamentally very simple technology. Like you could do this in an 8th grade lab experiment.
Yeah.
The patent is on the devil's in the details. So if you do it the simple engineering 101 way, you get a slight undercount in the amount of oxygen carried throughout the blood. I think the numbers are roughly like the Apple Watch is maybe 2 to 5% accurate of if you cut someone's artery open and you measured the oxygen, you sat there and counted every little oxygen molecule. It's about 2 to 5% accuracy level. And the tricky part in that is where this patent dispute exists. It takes really specialized knowledge to close the gap between the very simple science experiment to one that is actually accurate enough to give proper medical advice. We all should be 95 to 100% oxygen carrying. And if you go below that level, bad things are happening in your body. And so that 2 to 5% kind of matters. You want to know if you're within the error margin or if you're doing fine. And the patent, and it's more than just the patent. There's all this, did you steal employees from us? Did you, do all these other things? Um, And I think that's where I found it kind of interesting. It's a very simple technology. That's why I kind of doom scrolled right past it in the beginning, because I thought, oh, that's not going to even make it to trial, let
Yeah.
alone make any difference. But it turns out, no. Someone thought that Apple's technique was close enough to the patented techniques in that refinement area to actually get the watch. I'm just going to say banned. The
Yeah.
Apple Watch is banned. You
Yeah.
can't import it anymore into the grand United States of America.
Yeah. And it's very fascinating too, because these lawsuits around different pieces of technology and what's out there have different impact on, on us as a consumer. But obviously, we don't want things to be infringed and all this stuff and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
But this reminds me of the early 2000s when both Sony and Microsoft were actually sued by Immersion for rumble by vibration in the
Oh, I
controllers.
forgot.
So it's one that I remember, but I was a Nintendo kid. So Nintendo, they had like a rumble pack, and they didn't include stuff in the different technologies that they used, and Nintendo kind of went around it in different thing. But basically there was this patent that was tactile feedback man machine interface device. That was what it
Mm-hmm.
was called. And basically it was years, and they went back and forth between removing things and adding things back and paying. But then again, it's like, well, if you remove every single Xbox and PlayStation controller on the planet that has rumble, you can't bind it. Like, you don't have a video game system. So I got to re-engineer. And then how does that impact games that we're doing stuff on rumble, XYZ, right? So very, very fascinating. Like, that went on for many, many years. I mean, I'm looking at the Wikipedia article. It went on for like 5, 6, 7 years, right? Just in from the beginning of that. So the fascinating part here is, in our prediction of 2024 Apple-esque episode, we have a few different things to talk about. There's a very fascinating case. And I mean, funnily enough, when I was joking about me going to the store, I knew this was happening. But a week ago, right before Christmas, Heather goes, should we go buy new Apple Watches? Like, should we go? Because she's like, maybe we'll
Funny.
never be
Yep.
able to buy this Apple. And I said, here's my thought on it. Because as of this recording, we're recording this day after Christmas. So we're not just, so maybe everything has changed by New Year's, and we're sorry. We just wasted 20 minutes of your time. But we knew that it was going to be taken off the market. But my thought is that we're waiting for December 25th, which is when I think Biden could sign an executive order for Apple and be like, it's fine, don't worry about it. And that didn't happen. And my assumption here is that they could just flip the switch on the software and disable it in general. And that's a tricky thing, because these are the top end devices. Like, this doesn't impact the SE or the lower end or older models. This is the Ultra 2 and the Series 9, which are the high end models of the Apple Watch that are out there that have these features. And not only does it impact this, but as we think about 2024, would they just remove that sensor? Are those things already in manufacturing? Like, do they again turn off the software on it? Now, that can totally be a plausible thing, but how do you relay that to your customers? Like, obviously it halts the sales of new models or new ones that are in production, but really, when you think of software, you can't like retroactive. Like, do you still have a Series 9 that's like, oh, this was purchased before this date and activated, so the feature can be on? Well, I don't know, the feature's still in violation, right? It's a tricky conundrum that's in there, because obviously with like Xbox and PlayStation controllers of days of yore, like, now you can software update them. Back in the day, you can't now, but like, you couldn't just be like, oh, we're turning off the rumble, right? But even me, if I bought this thing with rumble, I won't be mad if you turned it off. Like, as a consumer, I don't care about what your litigation is going through. All I care about is me,
Yeah.
right, and the consumer.
Yeah.
Which is fascinating. I mean, what do you think is going to happen here? Like, what do you think the next steps are?
I'll give that, but I have to ask you, do you remember the whole D-pad thing with
Oh,
Nintendo? Like,
D-pad,
other
yeah.
game controllers couldn't even have a D-pad for the
No.
longest time. Well, we had to, I don't know if they finally settled with Nintendo or the patent just ran out. I don't know what the thing was there, but finally we got D-pads on other controllers. Thank you, Nintendo, for holding everyone back. But, my prediction is, and I have to admit, I don't know all the technicalities here. So, everyone, this is my prediction. This is all going to blow over very quickly, because one beautiful thing about the US patent system is it's very specific. It is a specific way to do something. And all Apple has to do is find something that is substantially different from that algorithm. Just use a different algorithm. Use machine learning would probably be enough to separate it because the patent lists out an algorithm. Just change your algorithm. And there's already signs that that's happening. Right now, the what is it? The Trade Commission that handles imports into the United States has blocked the watch being imported, and the whole hubbub is they have 2 weeks to make their final ruling, and that's 2 weeks of sales that Apple is missing out on. Which for a huge product like the Apple Watch, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
But the signs are that, and Apple, I should say, is making the case that this is a important health device and you are depriving the American people from a health device and shame on you. Don't you care about health? Plus, they have the good argument that that other company doesn't have consumer devices. So where is the infringement here? But I think that Apple will just tune their software algorithms, leave the hardware alone. Like I said, it's such an engineering 101 thing of you pick a few wavelengths for LEDs to emit, and then you measure the results of that. You can't patent that. That's spectrography. We've been doing spectrography for hundreds of years now, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You can't change that. The hardware can stay there. I think it will be fixed in software. And by fixed, I mean they're just going to pick another random algorithm out of the hat because there's a million ways to accomplish the same goal. As we all know in software, you can do the same thing a billion different ways. And I think that Apple will just find another way to do it with the hardware that they're given, the hardware they chose to put on those devices. And this will blow over. But I still thought it was newsworthy because it's scary. We all want these advanced sensors, and I don't believe in monopolies. I don't believe in the patent system. And it is frustrating to see the state of the art held back because someone filed some random patent. But I know that's how the world works. But it's frustrating. I think Apple will find a way around it.
Yeah, you can always pay the patent, I guess, too. You could pay to license it. And that's what
if they offer a license.
That's true. Not always
then. Just because you patent doesn't mean you have to offer a license to anyone. They'd be smart. I'm sure this is a money grab because that company has been moving into like sound systems and other things. I don't want to talk trash, but obviously I'm an Apple fanboy, right? So I cards on the table. But that company is not a consumer company. They're trying to get into consumer. They want to pad out their bank account a little. So you go to the biggest guy in the jail cell and you punch him in the nose. That's what you do. And that's what they're doing.
Well, it's also interesting too, because the D-pad, for example, patents last for 20 years. The patent was approved in 1985. Right before I was born, and it expired in 2005. Okay. Now there's tons of systems that came out, not from Nintendo, that had it, but of course you could license the D-pad technology. Now I worked in the DVR television space, and the patent that we were always really concerned with at the company I worked at was the grid guide. So the television grid.
That's patented.
I mean, it was. It's probably expired now. At least when I was there 10 years ago, the grid, the displaying of a grid in a way of showing shows and schedule for television and for programs was patented. And
patented the grid. James, I believe patented the timeline.
I believe TiVo did, and I could be wrong. And I have to look at it. I think TiVo did, and then TiVo went after. But then TiVo was acquired by some other. But then that company that they were acquired, like they just went out and patent trolled it, right, and just did all this stuff. Basically, just got everyone. Now, again, you can always break a patent. Sure. As long as that company doesn't get mad at you, you're okay. Right. So it was really scary when we came out with some of our first products, which was putting a grid guide on a television, on a phone. Right. I would take what was on your television and put it here, which was very scary. But there's all these licenses in the TV industry, as you can imagine, it's very scary to create some of this software. As a software developers, us, I don't think about patents very often. Right. I mean, often I'm putting a number on the screen. It could be hard, but I don't know. Maybe someone has something patented about reading a cadence device that displays a metric of. I'm sure there's all right. I'm sure there are, but I know, I'm not looking it up in the U.S. patent system, but it is something
Yeah.
to kind of think about. I mean, and obviously hardware is there too, but software, there's patents in software of what you can
Yeah.
do on different things. So it's very fascinating.
Yeah, my first patent I got was, I remember an engineer came over to me one day and they're like, "Oh, I'm having a hard time. I got to make this decision and that decision, and I can't figure out how to organize this thing into a coherent system." And we just had like a 30-minute conversation. I'm like, "Calm down, dude. Here's how I would solve it. Here's a very simple thing." And then we patented that idea. And honestly, I felt dirty because, like, the solution I came up with is what I considered the obvious, simple solution to solving his problem. And the fact that that was a unique bit of art that I created, I, I don't think it was, to be honest. And yet, I still got a patent out of it. The patent office thought it was. The lawyers we hired to write the patent thought it was. And there I am. So here I am, a person who really doesn't believe patents should even exist. I have patents, and I think the whole system is stupid. It's bonkers. Um, I think part of it is because you and I are software people.
Yeah.
If I release an app, there is nothing stopping someone from copying my app.
Yeah.
Change the name, write your own code, but otherwise copy my app. Yeah, don't copy the source code, but we're all smart. We can all copy each other's apps. No app is that complicated out there. And I think I just have that software mindset that it's so easy to copy things that why legislate whether you can or not cannot copy? Release a better product,
Yeah.
compete in the marketplace. That's what I believe. I don't believe competing with lawyers. But again, Apple is a big, large company with its own patents. I should be mad at Apple for copywriting the solar charging iPhone that will
Mm.
never exist, even though they have a patent on it. It feels awkward defending a $1 billion, $1 trillion company. But it just, this one rattles my anti-patent bones. Like, this is not how we advance
Yeah.
the state of the art. I never heard Jean-Luc Picard say patents are important to creating the future of the universe.
I see two Frank Krueger patents. I see one that says consistent set of interfaces derived from a business object model. Is that
Oh,
you?
that's a whole different one. Oh,
That's a
yeah,
different
that
Frank
was one
Krueger, or is
from
that
Mike.
you?
Well, no, that was Microsoft. That was a team effort. My name
Okay.
got put on it because I was a part of the team. So
Yep.
yay for the team. Energy efficient front end fan control or something like that is my original earliest patent in my life. I was saving the environment before it was cool, kids.
That's cool. I see one for architectural design for sell from stock application software. Is that you? That's maybe a team effort. I don't know.
Oh, that one's probably the team effort. I have 3 Microsoft patents and 1
Ooh.
patent through
Did you
General
get did you get
Motors.
the cube?
I got the cubes. I got my
Wow.
cubes. I got my
Wow.
Microsoft cubes. I didn't get the bonus. Did I get the bonus? I don't remember if I got the bonus.
I don't even know if they do
But I
that
remember
stuff
I
at
was
all.
like, whether my name got on that first patent or not was questionable because I was only 16 at the time. And the lawyers were really confused on whether I was even allowed to have the
Oh wow.
patent or not.
Huh.
Plus, yeah, there's a lot of politics in patents. I don't know if you know this, but you don't just go out and file for one.
Yeah.
Lawyers are involved, and it's ugly.
Well, if I type in my name, I can guarantee you I got 0 out there. James Monty. Google has patents on google.com. 0
This
results
is fun. This
found.
is
Problem
mm.
solved. Problem solved.
Yeah,
Bang.
some people Google themselves. I just check the patent office. I'm like, oh,
There you
maybe I was sleepwalking one night and filed a patent.
go. Oops. It's like domain names. Just collect them all.
Yeah.
Well, talking about advancing Apple technology in 2024, we're on the precipice now that we're
Uh-oh.
in a new era of the
Computing?
year computing that we're going to shove more. Now, the idea of shoving a computer directly onto your eyeballs is not new. We've had lots of VR headsets. You could slap a cell phone onto onto your eyeballs for a long time. We got the Google glasses, we got the HoloLens, we got the Meta, the Quests, we got all the things. But we've done a few episodes on the Vision Pro, and I've gotten a lot of emails from Apple that's like, "Hey, get ready, get yourself ready, get yourself ready. Your app's ready. Are you ready? Is
You're
everybody?
ready?
Are you ready? Because
Is
I'm
the
ready.
world
Is the
ready?
world ready?" How do we think this is going to roll out, Frank? There's been some predictions in the market of units. There's been predictions for app developer engagement. How are you feeling? Because you're more interested in shoving things onto your eyeballs than I am. How are you
Yeah.
feeling about this? And how do we see this going into the year of your 2024?
Yeah, well, a product's coming out when the leaks start getting a little more interesting and a little more specific and a little
Yeah.
bit more fun. And so the current leaks are saying we're going to have real hardware end of January, beginning of February, assuming the production line gets spun up running and is running very well and all that. So it could be as early as 1 month from now one of us could have a Vision Pro, probably not me. No, one of us could probably have a Vision Pro in their hands on this episode, and we'll show it off. Maybe we'll do an unboxing. Who knows what we'll do?
I do need to write off some stuff on my next tax form.
Taxes,
So
taxes.
it's a little business write off, I think. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
So it does. It honestly puts a little fear into me because I am not very happy. I have a few apps that I've written for the Vision Pro. I think one of them's pretty cool. One's going to be fun, but I also know it's going to drain the battery. It's going to kill that battery, man. The battery's gone. Gone. I feel like it's just the thing I've been putting off. Like, will this device be successful? Should I devote my time to it? All of our questions will be answered within a few months. I mean, obviously, it takes a little while for a product, even after release, to gauge whether the general public is going to buy it, whether it's going to be a success, and all that kind of stuff. But the current leaks are saying that there's going to be a measly 500,000 units released, which that sounds like a big number. It is a big number. 500,000 steps? That's like 50 days worth of steps. $500,000, that's a house. 500,000, that's a lot of things, but for units of Apple for a $3,500 device, it's not a very large number. And these are leaks, of course. We don't know if these numbers are true. So honestly, I'm a little bit scared for the Vision Pro. I'm not sure it's going to be a runaway success in the very beginning, at least. If they release a product that's called the Vision Standard or the Vision SE or the Vision Minus or something like that, perhaps it'll have some success. But this Vision Pro, I don't want to say it's dead on arrival because I think I'm going to be wrong. And there's a lot of people who are excited for it. But I'm a little bit weary. I personally haven't seen any killer apps. Everyone wants the killer app. What is the Twitter of the Vision Pro going to be? And I haven't seen it yet. I've seen a lot of cool game demos. People are great at doing game demos. It's obviously going to be a fun little gaming device, but so is a $500 device.
Yeah.
So for 500,000 units, I'm feeling a little bit nervous. I think if Apple was more confident, that number would be more around 2 million or 10 million or something like that, if they thought the sales were going to be very high. So you have to consider, as app developers, there's going to be a new market in a couple months that's going to have about 500,000 users over the year. And can we make a profit at 500,000 users? I think there's something like 200 million iPhones being produced a year. So, if you're writing an iPhone app, there are good chances that you have a very large customer base behind you, or I should say, at least say a marketplace that could potentially become your customers. But at 500,000 units, I'm not sure I'm going to make back my my investment in the hardware. So I'm a little bit weary and I'm a little bit nervous because I realize I need to whip some apps into shape very quickly.
I think there's two routes that this can go. I mean, obviously, but in the air. So the one thing is, I think as an app developer, there's a big opportunity even in a small space. I think sometimes people forget this. So I kind of hear, I don't have hundreds of millions of people. Yeah, I mean, it's a big pool. But however, depends on what you're building, right? If you're building something that's very general and you happen to be the first one to do it, and you can charge $1 a year, $2 up front to buy the thing. Like this might be an opportunity where people just want to buy apps, right, for it for a few bucks, $5. Hey, you get 20% of the people to buy this blah 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 app. It's a measuring app or house app.
Though.
I mean, here's the thing. I think about the Windows Phone. I'll bust out the Windows Phone. Had a pretty small install base overall comparatively. There are many app developers that did very well in the days of Windows Phone because of competition in the space. There's an opportunity in which it's like a supply demand app trend curve, right? So I don't really know. And I don't know how Apple's going to show the apps, right? I'm assuming that they're going to really, really highlight the apps built for Vision Pro. And then everything else that just happens to run there will be kind of over here. That's what they kind of did on the iPad. And that's what they do on the Mac, right? It's over here if you really want it. But we're going to reward our developers and really enrich it, right? So there's that aspect of it, and what is that app going to be? Is it going to be an existing app like the Stars at Night type of app that shows you the constellations and blah, blah, like that app exists on the iPhone, the iPad. They could bring it over, and they've made tons of money, so they could probably do just fine.
The fart app.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Is there going to be the fart in your face app? I don't know. But, but again, there is this sort of, hey, there's opportunities to nibble there, right? On something that it's brand new. People don't know. People are willing to try more things. Again, 3 years from now, if it does go big, there'll just might be much more saturation into the market. So it's hard to say, right? I'm not a put stuff on my face type of guy for goggles and Googles that are out there. So it's fascinating. And then of course, since we don't have one, it's hard to envision how similar or different this is to existing goggles. Because if I look at something like these Meta Ray-Ban, I'm sure you've seen the commercials for them. It's like Meta partnering with Ray-Ban. They have like, smart glasses they're so smart. They're the smartest glasses. You can listen to music and you can like live stream on Instagram for some reason. But I can I've worn glasses. You're wearing glasses right now. You can envision glasses and like now that you can see something, or you can envision them playing music for something. You can envision that. But I'm not sure how this is. You can see the emulator and simulator, but you maybe not be able to envision the app in the same thing. So it's a little bit harder based on when it comes out to market. So there is this kind of weird supply demand. The other aspect of it is go down the Nintendo route. And I call the Nintendo strategy route, which is this. And this is a 100% made up, nobody knows 100% for sure, supply demand thing. But if you look at the lineage of Nintendo systems that were very, 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 very popular, Nintendo Wii, the Nintendo Switch, for some reason, in the first 2 years, you just couldn't buy one. PlayStation 5. Oh, yeah. You just couldn't freaking buy one. Even Xbox Series X, you couldn't. But everybody, guess what? Everyone was talking about it. So Apple's like, oh, we can't make too many. But you can't. Maybe they don't even make that many. Oh, supply chain. I don't know. But man, everybody. I don't know if it's artificial. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that there's no press is bad press, and not. It's weird, right? Like, don't you want to sell as many as humanly possible? Yes. But also, we definitely want that long tail, right? To say, oh, well, we only sold 500, but now we sold 5 million. You know what I mean? Whatever that is.
Yeah.
But that ramp up. So the question is, they're pretty invested in this thing. So Apple doesn't.
Yeah.
When was the last time Apple brought something to market and then it kind of went away? I can't even.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair point. The Newton.
I mean, I would say the thing that's gotten the least amount of love is like the Apple TV and the HomePod, but besides that, I mean, they're still hanging around. You know what I mean?
Well, you have a great point. So, okay, I'll play devil's advocate to my own argument. Those people buying this ridiculously priced device are going to be so enthusiastic.
Yes, and they have money to buy stuff.
Yeah. They just spent $3,500 on a random piece of hardware they know literally nothing about, because those demos don't mean anything. And this happened when I bought my first Quest or my first Rift. What do? You get this thing, you're like, okay, you look through the settings, and then you go to the App Store and you're like, okay, what can it actually do? Show me some games, show me something fun. And so, playing devil's advocate to my own argument, if you have a day one built for Vision OS app and you have an okay monetization strategy, then you can make some money. I would not put a $1 app on this thing, because even if you
No.
had, yeah, you're not going to get a 10% market purchasing. You're not going to get 1%. So you're going to have to charge a few dollars.
Well,
And if you do that through subscriptions or not, yeah.
whenever new systems came out, just like the Nintendo Switch came out, I
Mm-hmm.
remember getting my Switch because, you know, I'm gonna get my Switches. Like I'm gonna get my stacks of Switches and Xboxes.
Yeah.
So I get, because
The six pack.
I mean, I had Xboxes and Switches stacked to the ceilings because how my strategy is I'm gonna buy one. I don't believe in any company basically
Mm.
that sells
Mm.
you a brand new video game console. I don't believe that it's going to actually show up, which means I am a ravenous clicker of multi-window everything. I am,
Oh.
So when I bought the Switches, I bought 4 Switches because I bought one from
Oh,
every
funny.
single company I possibly could, different models, different size. I don't know if they're going to cancel them. Maybe they'd overstock. Maybe this didn't get enough,
Yeah.
right? I don't know. But I do know that if I get them, I'm going to have friends that didn't get them because they didn't click fast
Mm-hmm.
enough. So I
Mm-hmm.
just, give it to them at cost, right? You know what I mean?
At
I'm not a,
cost.
yeah.
What kind of
I'm not,
businessman are you?
I do not believe in markups. I do not believe in going in and being that. But if I'm going to get 4 of them, I'm going to give 3 away at cost to friends. They're going to pay for shipping, of course. So, but besides that, and I've done that for many, many years. The Wii, the Switch,
Okay.
Xbox Series, like all these things. I believe PlayStation. I'm not a Sony person, so I don't have any of those. But the other ones, Microsoft, Sony, and Microsoft and Nintendo. If it's in the MN ratio, then we're good.
Mm-hmm.
Now that being said, when I got my Nintendo Switch, of course, I got Zelda. Right, I got to get my Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
But when I logged onto the eShop, there was like 15 apps, 15
What?
games. Guess what? Guess what? Bought them all. Like I mean, again, like I would look and like if it was halfway decent and whatever, but those games, I knew they were overpriced, whatever it was. But guess what? I'm gonna want some
Mm-hmm.
games for my
Yeah.
system. So I think that could be an opportunity that is out there. Now, I think you downplay it, but it could be the opposite of it because people bought it. They want to do stuff with it. Frank
Okay.
Kruger's
You know what? You know what?
machine.
I'll admit here. This is a good therapy session for me. I'm just scared because I do want to see it succeed. I've wanted
Yeah.
VR to succeed ever since the Rift came out. I thought it was a great device, even though I got sick in it after an hour. I still think VR is going to play some role in the future, especially
Yeah.
AR. Also, it will, because screens are dumb. They're finite, and with a headset, you can create an infinite world. Even the military believes in VR. The first VR goggles I ever used were from the military, so they've even been invested in it because they thought it was a decent device. It will exist. I'm just I'm scared because it's so expensive and I
Mm,
don't know how much time to devote to it and all that stuff. And I just want to see it succeed.
yeah.
And I think that's why I keep naysaying it, because I'm setting my own expectations low. That's how you win. Apple says we're only going to release 500,000 units, but surprise, we actually put in an order for 10 million units from the
Yeah.
manufacturer. Set expectations low, then you can surpass them. Your stocks go up, and you can release the Vision Minus to follow up after it.
I think it could be
But
just the vision. No, I mean, when you go to
oh,
the website, it's vision. I do think Apple Vision is a weird name. Apple Vision Pro sounds good because it's got like Vision
mm-hmm.
Pro, like it. But Apple
Yeah,
Vision also sounds weird. I don't know. That's just my prediction. It will
yeah.
evolve.
Yeah. And like you said, Apple is heavily invested into this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Apple has some of the best 3D libraries of any OS right now, some of the best 3D APIs. They wrote their own stupid 3D composition app, Reality Composer Pro Minus, to do all this kind of stuff. They have been prepping for this thing for years, so
Yeah.
long, in fact, that we all were wondering if it was vaporware, because honestly, it was feeling very vaporware. And the fact that this vaporware is finally coming out in a month, like, is this going to be a what's the cyber game called? Cyberpunk. Is this going to be a cyberpunk release, or is this going to be a Nintendo Switch release? Like,
Yeah.
will there be a Zelda game that is the killer app? Everyone loved Breath of the Wild, and I think Breath of the Wild sold that Switch for a very long time
Oh
because
yes.
it got great reviews. The only
Yeah.
reason I want a Switch is so I can play Breath of the Wild from 5 years ago or whatever people were talking about it. I
It's
still
true.
want it because that hype train was so strong.
Did you still not
And
buy your Nintendo Switch? We did a whole
I
episode
still
on it.
haven't. I was some kids for Christmas got it. Some kids in the family and got it for Christmas. I'm like, get over here. Let me play that. So I stole the Switch out of their hands so I could try it out.
Oh my gosh.
So I still I do hope it has that moment. And I think it's just nervous energy that I have right now because when the leaks came out and said end of January, I'm like, oh God, I really did think they were going to punt it until like
Yeah.
March or April, make it like that's when iPad came out. So I always assume everything's going to come out in the iPad timeframe. But I think watches came out early in the year too. And those kind of surprised everyone. But for the watch, I got to play with a watch before it was released. I got to go to the labs,
Yeah.
and this time I didn't get to go to the labs. So I don't have any NDA information. There's no
Yeah.
tea to spill. I don't know what's going
Well,
on.
it's, but here's the funny part too, as I think about it, it's like with the watch, we're like, oh, I can kind of envision like doing stuff on the watch, and there's an app and there's this big
Mm-hmm.
push towards it. And, I know there are watch apps, so I don't want to belittle any watch app. However, I really feel like that it really, fell off. Where it's like, okay, I'm going to have something, whatever. There are some things on there, but I don't know. They kind of ebb and flow up and down. And the toolkit, it changed so vastly.
Oh
It
yeah.
was a little bit different with the Vision Pro, at least. Like I feel as though the toolkit is pretty good V1, where like the watch, it was not great. You think the Vision Pro toolkit's not that great? I didn't play with it, so only know.
No, it's well, they give you two ways to program it. You can use their very simple API and create a very simple app, or you can jump into the deep end and program a metal app from scratch. Basically, build your own game engine. The third way, of course, is use someone else's game engine. That's the
Yeah.
obvious third way. I think that's the way most developers will go.
Mm.
But it does have one thing going for it. The Apple Watch. What's its primary thing? We hate to say it, but
To
what I
watch.
do the most? I check
Yes.
the time on my
Yeah.
watch,
Yeah.
and that's why I think apps didn't really take off because the watch does what a watch is supposed to do. The built-in apps for the Apple Watch are decent enough. I mean,
Yeah.
it tells the time and it tells me my text messages while I'm driving.
Yeah.
Whereas the Vision Pro, it doesn't do anything.
I'm a
It
little
doesn't do
worried.
anything necessary.
Yeah, I am a little worried as I look at like the Apple Vision Pro website. I'm like, I don't know, is it all going to work that good? Is it going to? I don't know. I'm a little worried, but I don't
I
know.
think it'll work good. I think Apple's going to release a good product.
Yeah.
I think the quality will be high. I think there'll be gorgeous screens. I think the OS is going to feel good.
Yeah.
These are things Apple will always nail. They are passionate about these things. But they don't have the, show the time. That is the fundamental thing that a watch does. There is no fundamental thing VR, AR goggles do aside from play video games that make you a little sick after an hour. That's what they do.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Are you nervous? Okay, that was my prediction. What's your get bottom line? Bottom line, I'm nervous. I think maybe in 5 years it can be a good product, but I think this is going to be a rough launch. What's your prediction?
Oh, it's definitely going to be a rough launch. I think all of these devices, there's a ceiling, there's a cap, there's a plateau on them. There's a plateau on wrists, which are the number of wrists in the world that will put on a watch. There are a limit of heads, and there's a limit of people that will put. There's people that don't wear watches. I was not a watch person. I never wore watches, right? I now wear an Apple Watch, right? Because the fitness stuff. I just want mostly a fitness tracker, but I like to see the time. But I never wore a watch. Never wore a watch ever, right? And now that is something that's kind of like ingrained, right? I wish the battery lasts longer, but it's fine. We've accepted it. We've given into the 24-hour, 18-hour life cycle. But that being said, like I think that the shoving stuff on your face is a hard thing, which means that the Apple Vision Pro I assume it will evolve, right? I think that the long-term vision is that they're just like glasses that you put on to your face, just like these things, but it's like really, really good. And who knows if that's 5, 10, whatever years from now. I think there's a cap on the Meta Quest, on the any of the Samsung ones on the cardboard, like all those things that you put on your face, there's a limit of it, right? And there's only a limit of people that will buy it. It's the usage that's on it, right? I hear tons of people talk about, oh, I got the PlayStation VR, which I hear is like amazing. And they're like, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna set it up. It takes time to set up. Like it's just too much work, right? So that's the other part too, is when you have a watch that's on you 24/7, you have a phone that's with you 24/7. The other concern about it that I have is, what's the engagement numbers going to be? Am I going to sit in front of my
Yeah.
desk? Like I see the marketing website, and I'm thinking,
Right.
man, it'd be pretty cool. I could just like be here. Just imagine my desk
Mm-hmm.
has like no computers on it and like no crap. And
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
that sounds and looks cool. But am I going to want to strap
Mm-hmm.
this thing on my head for 10 hours? Is that really going to be a thing? It's like, is it going to work seamless? Am I going to Intune this device to work on? Like,
Yeah.
what if I want to just do this podcast with you? Can I do it on the
In
Vision Pro
VR.
in VR?
I mean, we're
I
gonna
don't,
try.
we're going to try to, you know what I mean? But these are the things, is like, what's the
Yeah.
limitation that I end up getting to actually try to use these things? So that's my real concern at the end of the day
Yeah.
for Vision Pro, is that they're going to sell it, but will it make the shareholders happy? Will it make Apple happy with whatever
Mm-hmm.
that cap is? Now, I don't know what that plateau number is, and they could grow it over the years, but is that a sustainable model that they want? Right? I don't
And
know.
honestly, yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, I like where you're coming from. I was also just thinking, though, it's a harder one to have word of mouth about. I
Hmm.
remember when the iPhone first came out,
Yeah,
I
check
was a
this out.
naysayer.
Yeah.
I'm always a naysayer because I had a BlackBerry, man. BlackBerry was fine. You could
Mm,
send texts and it told you the time. What else
yeah.
do you need in a device? Until someone handed me their iPhone. And then I
Yeah.
felt the buttery smooth scrolling and the beautiful color graphics. And I got to play with the apps a little bit, and it was tremendous. So goggles are a little different. You got your sweaty face. It
They're
puts a little
fit to you.
outline around your head. Yeah, the lenses are fit to you. It's gonna definitely make someone else whose face shape is different than yours a little bit sick because your eyes are not going to line up.
Yeah.
And then even the Apple Watch, someone's sitting at the table, you look at their wrist and you see this shiny glowing device on their wrist, and you're like, oh, what is that? What can it do? And they can show you. It's really
Yeah.
easy. This one's going to be a lot harder to sell by word of mouth because you're going to have to unsuction it from your face, wipe the sweat off,
Yeah.
say like, "Oh, here, try this game, but don't look down; it might freak you out a little," and then go from there. So I think the word of mouth is going to be a little bit harder.
Yeah.
The one benefit is other companies have paved the road. Facebook has paved the road that at least the general public knows what VR
Yeah.
is. They might not know what AR is, or might not be ready for the mixed computing
True.
lifestyle, but at least people are cognizant of it. But it's a lot harder to demo to your friends.
Yeah. I'd agree with that. We'll see. It's going to be an interesting year. I think the things that I'm more excited about coming towards the end of the year is I do pull up my M1 MacBook Air, and I'm like, it's a pretty nice device.
Still
But
working.
I watched a recent episode of on YouTube. So I guess a recent YouTube video, and they sat down with the lead engineers of the hardware and of the chips, of
Cool.
the M1 chips. Interview. It's a really good interview. It's whatever it is. I forget what the guys' names are. They're talking about, like, how they pair this and next one. They're talking about the M3 and all this other stuff. And I think, it's been few years for Apple with their own silicon. And really at this
Mm-hmm.
point, everything is their own silicon going forward. And the integrations, we've seen advances in hardware and design wise in there. Where do you want to see, the next hardware beyond the Apple Vision Pro? Like, what are your predictions for what we're going to see? Like we saw this year, right? We saw new, MacBooks or MacBook Pros and iMacs, right?
Mm-hmm.
We obviously see new iPads and iPhones and watches every year, but the Mac is like over here. Is, I guess, are we going to continue the switch off where, like, do we get a new Mac Mini? Do we get a new Mac Pro? Do we get a new Mac
Mm-hmm.
Air? Like, are the designs different? Like, is M3 synonymous everywhere? Is M2 good enough? I don't know. Like, what are your thoughts in the hardware space?
Ubiquitous,
Ubiquitous.
ubiquitous M3s
Mhm.
everywhere. It's me, so I got to take the AI approach. I'm not sure VR is a revolution in computing. I'm
Mm.
happy to be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But you know what definitely is AI. And
Yeah.
yes, we're in a bubble and all that stuff. But I got to tell you, these M series of chips are crushing it. In the early days of AI, we all thought speed mattered. Speed was the king. I need to
Mm.
train my networks fast. I want to run my networks fast. But this year and last year has really taught us that's not the bottleneck. The bottleneck is memory these
Yeah.
days. You need big networks to do sophisticated things. You need lots and lots of memory. And the one thing that these M chips provide you is the unified memory model. It's slower than in some NVIDIA GPU for sure. But NVIDIA consumer grade NVIDIA chips cap out at 24 gigabytes of RAM.
Yeah.
That's not enough. Or it is enough, but it won't be enough for the proper future of the
Yeah.
world
Hmm.
where you can get these M series chips with unified 48 gigabytes of RAM, 96 gigabytes of RAM. That's the future. I remember when the very first Xbox came out. There was a beautiful article in one of the game dev magazines from Michael Abrash, and he just went on and on for like 2 or 3 pages, which is a lot in print magazine, about how wonderful the unified memory model is,
Mm.
because it's so much easier to write software for a device like that. You don't have to worry about synchronizing between GPU memory and CPU memory. You can just write your app to just run on this thing. And I think that model, that unified memory model, is going to pay dividend after dividend to Apple, because the proper revolution that's happening right now is the AI revolution. And having these machines in consumer grade hardware that can run these giant models is going to be such a game changer. I bemoaned WWDC this year because Apple didn't release a large language model, but you know they're going to do it. Maybe it'll probably be this year. It'll probably be 2024. But even if it's 2025, they have set themselves up
Yeah.
to be the kings, the dominant force there, because they have this hardware that can do it.
Yeah.
That's what matters. And they're putting this hardware in people's hands.
True.
And so M3, yes, M3 everywhere. I just want more gigabytes everywhere. And my personal thing is, yeah, I want either an iMac Pro. I'm not even sure I want that anymore, but I definitely want a Mac Mini or a Mac Studio. I want a desktop machine that I can put a big old M3 in that's
Mm.
fast, and also have 48 or 96 gigabytes of memory to run ridiculously large size models that do very sophisticated things. We are moving out of the niche into the public, and running locally on machines is going to be very important in the future for privacy, for security, for the environment. Honestly, it's better for the environment if these machines are doing it.
Yeah.
So my prediction is, yeah, M3 everywhere. I don't think Apple's going to play the game of continuously selling the M1 along with the M3. I think they're going to keep pushing their hardware onto the newest silicon as fast as their manufacturers can do it, and as fast
Yeah.
as their financial books will allow it. And so I think it's going to be a great year for the M series. Actually, I am curious how fast of a chip is going to be in this proper Vision
We get
Vision Pro, but
M4. M4 coming
M4,
out. Well, we didn't
not
get
this
the
year.
we
We
didn't
don't
get
need
the,
it.
yeah, we didn't get the Ultra. I bet they released the Ultra on something, maybe the Mac
Exactly.
Studio, and then phase out the M1 and go to the M2, and more other things have M2s in them that are out there. I mean, when they announced the M3, they had everything on the chart, but they would talk to the improvements over the M1 in general. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that they sold a lot of M1s and did really obviously sold a lot of M2s as well. But I think they'll
Yeah.
push forward on that, which will be good. Yeah, I mean, ideally, I would love to see the M3 in all of them, like a 13-inch MacBook, Air, for example, would be great. I would
Yeah.
buy that up, and get rid of the other one. And I think that would be a nice jump if I get a Pro or a Max or something like that in it. But I think that you're right. To me, I have a Project Volterra Windows device, which is an ARM-based
Mm-hmm.
device. I use that
Mm-hmm.
every day at work. It's a lovely device. It has a dedicated neural core in it. I feel
Right.
as though the advancements, and like you said, Apple has this advantage. They've been putting this stuff in their devices for a long time. This dedicated chipsets, and so is Google, right? But again, the Android
Mm-hmm.
ecosystem is very vast, right? Just maybe the Pixel line
Yeah.
has that, but not everyone has Pixels. Like, what is Samsung doing, and is it unified XYZ? And I
Yeah.
would love to see that advancement happen faster, right? Now, that being said, there's probably got to be some sort of reason, that Apple hasn't really talked about AI a lot. And maybe that's just like we're waiting for more adoption of M chips, right? Just because new
Mm-hmm.
MacBooks came out doesn't mean everyone has a new MacBook or upgrade, right?
Yeah.
I had my MacBook 2013 until my MacBook 2013 died.
Yeah. I still have an Intel iMac,
Yeah.
here I am.
But, and so they might just be waiting for some sort of adoption metric or something like that. And, hardware does move slower, right? It's not like
Mm-hmm.
iPhones and AirPods and watches where, the people are more apt to adopt more quickly. They're less likely now every single year, but every few years, right? So if it is a 3, 4, 5 years, they're like, okay, but hey, remember those M1s? They're possible of this. Oh, but if you have this, it's possible of this on device, which would be fascinating. And, I think that you're right. To me, there is, everyone's going to talk about AI all the time, but
I know it's
I,
tiring.
I'm not, AI wasn't excited to me when it was machine learning, when we were talking about ML, all this stuff. It doesn't excite me. Still doesn't excite me. I really doesn't get me. It excites you. I don't care. I want an API. I want to infuse. I want stuff to just
Yeah.
be better, right? That we talked about in the last podcast, the dev experience, the inner loop. And I can envision so much more happening and faster and all this stuff, like as it could do more of these things on device. And you're going to see a blend. I feel like it's a blend of AI, right? When is it going to something on device when it compared to a 3.5 versus turbo versus, 4,
Yeah.
there's going to be what is it doing? It's going to, all these models are all going to just, one thing is going to be better at one scenario versus another scenario is going to be faster. It's going to be tweaked, I imagine. All these different scenarios. Who cares what model you're using as long as you get the end result at the end of the day? But
Mm-hmm.
I think that power, that harness, without bogging down the IDE, without bogging down the text processor, without bogging down hitting the start button or searching for something on Google or Bing, right? That's the stuff that's important to me at the end of the day. And I think those are the things that I would love to see more of it ingrained on these devices. So I do think it's got to blend down the line to the lower end devices, which everything is, at least an M1 at this point. But I would love to see,
Yeah.
some of the higher end devices. I would love to see the Mac Studio ramp up because I gotta say, the Mac Mini, the Project Volterra, these types of devices that are these small, super powerful. I mean, man, just a lot. I mean,
They're good machines.
they're good machines, and I'll give you this ARM based machine. I've had it for like a long time. I was an internal beta tester, and it's come a long way. I'm just really impressed with it, and just the size, obviously software and hardware and all these things. But obviously, it's the same on the M1, right? I mean, I remember when I got the
Mm-hmm.
M1, and it's come a long way, and just the software as we get better. I think of AOT, and I think of all the things that we're doing
Yeah.
just in the .NET space and what Apple's doing, and all
Mm-hmm.
these things can really come a long way. So I feel like, yes, I think a lot of people have been watching a lot of it's end of year, right? So we're like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
did we hit peak AI? I feel like we're barely crawling. It feels like we're sprinting. Nope. No, we're barely out of the crib. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's the use cases for the AI and those use cases for all of these different models. I mean, there's plenty of use cases for even 3.5, you know what I mean, that are out there today. That is once it's the democratization and the cheapness of it, right? Because as soon as that 3.5, we talked about the drop down, right? There's plenty of use cases for 3.5 versus a 4.0 or whatever model, right?
Yeah.
These turbo
Yeah.
models or whatever it is that are out there today. So I'm excited to see how that blends in, just hopefully into this. And it'll be good when you don't know that it's an AI thing happening. I think that's the
Yeah.
thing. Right now, it's got it's
It's
got little
promotional.
it's got little
Yeah.
stars, it's got little twinkles, like, oh, little
Stars.
star. Oh, you got little AI. It's powered by AI. You know what? No, just do the thing. Hey, just when
Yeah.
I'm doing this thing, go do the thing. And
Yeah.
I will say, I've been generating images with Dolly 3 for a while now, and hey,
Uh-huh.
it's gotten really good at displaying text. Like a year ago when I
Oh, has it?
started,
Yeah.
I would
Mm-hmm.
I would try to do things for the show and put it. No, it was like
Right.
garbage. It's sometimes like spot on or just a little bit off, but like really, really good.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's
And I'm excited.
crazy what it's doing.
And I'm excited for the integrations. Like right now, because I generate a lot of our backgrounds for this podcast and for my YouTube with DALL-E 3 on the Bing image creator, but it's integrated into other projects. Oh, you created this image? Oh, go not take it into the designer thing and do this other thing. Like, oh, okay. You start to see the blending of things. And I think that's what'll be exciting about it. And even Zencaster, we use Zencaster and they have an AI feature that will figure out stuff. I'm not going to pay for it, but at some point, it's going to be part of whatever offering they have or some credit. You know what I mean? It'll be part of something, but the blendability will be exciting. I am interested if Apple will jump what the jumping point is from them to be like, okay, here's the AI thing. Is it going to be dub? Is it going to be some new hardware? Is it going to be something else? Or do they not want to take away their excitement around Vision Pro, right? Or is that whenever it comes out? I don't know. So that'll be, there's obviously those two things are not contradictory, but you're battling for what do you want to have on center stage?
Honestly, part of their problem is their success. Like the M3's out, the M3's been out for a while, but the M1 is so darned good. I'm talking to you over an M1 computer right now, and it feels snappy and fine. Like
my MacBook's real good.
If they released an M3 MacBook Air right now, I'd be like, I'll wait for the M4. Yeah. That's why I kind of dismissed your M4 out of hand, because I'm like, they're already pretty good. We don't need the M4 right now, because on YouTube, there were just some new reviews of the M2. Like M2 reviews are still coming out. People are still wrapping their head around the M2, and here comes the M3. And so I don't think we'll see an increase in the M series at all. I derailed this a little bit with the talk of AI and everything, but I feel like Apple's just on really solid hardware footing right now. That what happens? Hardware bumps up, software catches up. Software surpasses it, hardware very slowly surpasses software, and then we repeat that cycle over and over again. Right now, honestly, even if we side table AI, we do not need an M3, M4, M5. Like the M's are fine for pretty much everything except for maybe the highest end gaming. But you know what? We're not all 12-year-old boys, so we don't have to worry about that all the time. And I think that from like a computer standpoint, from a technologist standpoint, we don't need those chips. With the new technologies, with AI and stuff, we definitely do need those chips. So I think we are seeing that give and take of software pushing hardware, hardware pushing back, pushing software to do better. And it's always fun to be in one of those cycles, because that means things are advancing. I'll take that over the boring mid 2000s when it didn't feel like anything was advancing at all. So I'm happy to be in this state right now.
Yeah. And it's an exciting year. I think, we started off with watches and then the Vision Pro. And I'm excited for something new and different, no matter how it goes, up or down.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten something very new, different form factor for a long time. Like the watch was cool, but there's been smart watches forever, right? It's not a huge jump and a leap. We've had desktops and eye thingies, a lot of that. So it is the question is like, is the next hardware thing, this Vision Pro type of thing, is the next software thing, AI things? The answer is probably yes. Already is yes. We can't get away with it. It's already ubiquitous. I think that
Pandora's box is open.
It's already, it's open, right? And it's out there. And I do think there's, was it you talking about it on the last podcast? It's like, it was either you or someone else where they're like, oh yeah, I was home and I was explaining, GPT-3. Was it you?
That was probably me. Yeah.
I think the potential and how AI will simplify over the next X year or so and make it much more even approachable for people, and how the user experience will improve. That's some of my quirks with it, is just like, ideally, here's a great example. Like, it sure would be great if AI could help me improve the thing that I want from AI. For example, I want something from the Bing image creator, right? Oh, I put in a prompt. What if the AI says, hey, if you prompted it this way and with these features. Oh, did you know that you could add on
Yeah.
these examples? Do you want it in a style of yarn? Do you want it in style of Picasso? Do you want it in outside? Do you want it? You know what I mean? Like, it could give you these other recommendations in the engine instead of me guessing all the time, right? And I think that's the advancement that we're really going to see, is the AI guiding us more. And that, I think, is going to be a game changer. Instead of us telling it what we want it to do, it's going to help us through the process of getting to what we want. That's the game changer, right? And I think that's the iPhone moment, right? The iPhone moment wasn't that I could place a phone call. It was that I could open an app and I could order a car and it would be there, right?
You're touching the third rail. You are touching the third rail because, obviously, for reasons, mostly fear-mongering, we have not allowed neural networks to be critical of us. Probably for a good reason.
I'm ready.
Yeah. Why doesn't it respond? That's a stupid question. Here's the question you should have asked.
Because it knows. It knows, by the way.
It knows what you should have asked.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, we've avoided that because, people watched the Terminator movies when they were too young and they formed some bad opinions. We'll get over that when people are more comfortable with it. But eventually, these machines need to start being critical of us.
Yeah.
And that'll be a great day.
Well, with that, let's wrap up this marathon Apple 2024 prediction episode. You can find us anywhere on the internet. We're at Merge Conflict FM, mergeconflict.fm. There's a contact button. You can write into the show. We have a Patreon. You can become a Patreon subscriber. We put up bonus episodes several times a month, so you can check those out. We also have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/at mergeconflict.fm. You can find all those links at mergeconflict.fm, which is out there. You can find Frank and I on the internet. Our links are over on that website. If you enjoyed this episode of this pod at all, just let us know. You can just write to us, or you could share it with people if you enjoyed it. And like, hey, check out this. These people are talking about cool things. What do you think about this? If you have other predictions, let us know. The best place to do that is actually on the YouTube. So go over to the YouTube, hit that subscribe button over there, leave a comment, because we get notified when we get comments over there. You can also email us if you don't want the YouTube. So that's fine too. But either way, let us know what you think, and we'll bust out the listener thoughts and predictions, and let's see how 2024 goes. I'm excited for a big year, Frank, and thanks for hanging out with me. Safe travels back home to anyone that's traveling over the holidays. Happy 2024. Let's do this. So until next time, this has been Emerge Conflict. I'm James Montemagno.
And I'm Frank Krueger. Thanks for watching and listening.
Peace.